Palworld is the hottest thing on the block right now, and this video is dedicated to all those YouTubers defending this piece of poo game, saying things like, oh, there's no difference between the pals and the Pokemons. Well, let me give you a side-by-side comparison on how pals are very, very similar, if not copy and pasted, to the Pokemons. And I'm not talking about just taking inspiration. I'm talking about taking the Pokemon assets and putting them in Palworld. So let's take a look at the first example here, okay? You got the Pokemon on the left-hand side and the pal on the right-hand side. And as you can see, it's exactly the same. You can take a look at the face structure, exactly the same. The horns, they're there. The eye structure, the way the mouth has this white part, it's like a bluish part. And oh wait, on the pal, it's the same blue thing. What? And then the colors aren't even changed. I mean, that's the most obvious part. And then when you take a look at the chest hair on the Pokemon, you just kind of take it apart and twist it a little bit and then copy and paste it a bunch of times on the pal. And there you go. You have yourself a direct asset of Pokemon put into this game. Now, if you think, oh, what are you talking about? This is just inspiration. They're just taking inspiration from Pokemon. I don't know what to say. I mean, these YouTubers are either completely delusional or they're getting paid by Palworld to say these ridiculous things. Let's take a look at the next example right here. Now, at least with this one, they changed the colors, but everything else is literally the same thing. I mean, I guess they added wings, but that's about it. You can see the teeth structure, exactly the same thing. They have like this horn coming downwards, and it's the same thing on the pal. And you can see it has like 3 claws. Oh wait, how many claws does the Pokemon one have? 3 claws. It's the same thing over and over again. Even the body structure, it's like completely fat on the bottom and it's completely flat on the bottom on the Pokemon. Honestly, you guys, you really can't make this thing up. Here's another one where they can't even make their own colors. They can't even think to make their own colors. Look, okay, dark blue, light blue, red, and white. And then we take a look at the one in the Pokemon. It's the same colors. Dark blue, light blue, white, and red. Like, at least try not to make things obvious. Just try to not do that. You know, the neck size, the face structure, the wings, the tails, the claws, all of this is exactly the same. Now here's one where they think they were going to make something really cool, but it ended up being a complete disaster. You can see it's the same colors besides the red patch on the chest there, but the pal looks pretty similar. I mean, they added more yellow, but you can clearly tell that it's from the Pokemon. Instead of the horns on the Pokemon, they added like these fangy type horns that are yellow. But I think the biggest thing about this is their stance. The way they're standing is completely the same. So again, this is just a reiteration, but taking assets from Pokemon and putting in Palworld. Now with this next one, some people are saying that they look very, very similar. You kind of see the resemblance. But I mean, at this point, what happens is you see all these images that look exactly the same, and then when you see one that kind of looks the same, you're just going to be like, oh yeah, it just looks the same. Well, look at the head structure on the top there. It looks the same. The ears are just there, pointing forward. You got the red eyes, you got the yellow, and it's kind of like the same colors all over again. People are just going to be getting on the hype train and looking at more and more similarities, and over time, what's going to happen is people are going to start asking questions like, did they take this grass from Pokemon and take that asset and put it into this game, the grass? And it's probably going to be true, because how much of Pokemon did Palworld actually steal? That is the real question, because it could be just the pals, but if it's just the pals, it could be much, much more. Like just simple things like a tree, a rock. Now here's another disgusting similarity. Now the first time I looked at the pal, I was getting some Totoro vibes. You know Totoro? That cute little thing, they just made it look all evil and sinister. But you can clearly see with the Pokemon, it looks exactly the same. Again, using the same colors, using the same patterns again and again and again. You have the eyes just pointing downwards in a very angry way. You have the ears just pointing upwards. Yeah, sure, they're different, but are they really? If they're pointing upwards in the same direction in the same location, you got the zigzag patterns, even the cheekbones, they kind of like fluff upwards, just like in the Pokemon. And you got like 2 splits of hair right on the top on both of them, and it's like, do these creators not have any morals? Shame on you. Shame on you for being such a piece of poo. I mean, come on, how low can you go? All just to make money. All just so you can make those millions of dollars. All. Don't you care about the lives you're ruining? Don't you care about the gaming industry? Don't you care about the gamers? Like me, like us, all of us. We're gamers. We buy the games, and we bought your game. People, millions of people bought your game, all thinking that it was going to be a great experience. But what did they get? They get a copy and paste of everything you have in the game. And you're charging $30 for this game on Steam. I mean, how could you? How could you? Don't you know there's starving people in this world? I could have spent those $30 on my grandma to buy her some milk and cookies, but instead I bought those... bought this damn game! Now here we have another copy and paste situation. As you can see, instead of the big ears, you have those big flowers. Sure, the color's different, but I mean, take a look at the eyes, take a look at the smile, take a look at the nose, take a look at just the hair is just like the same thing. Now you got this next one, and I mean, it goes on and on and on, over and over, as we've seen with all the examples. At least change the colors. I mean, are the developers, did they intentionally do this? That is a question that I really want to ask them, is that why didn't they at least change the colors? I mean, this just makes it even more obvious if the colors are the same. But taking a look at the feathers that you have on the top of the head, sure, they added like 4 more feathers on top of the pal. But they just flipped the feather upside down. So instead of having the red tip at the bottom in the Pokemon version, you have the red tips on the top. And you have the green, same color green head, same shape, okay, same eyes. You have the eyelids and the beak being black, as you did in the Pokemon one. And then you have the brownish reddish wings flying. And then you have the big feet because he has those claws, and it's white on both of them. It's like, come on. Here we go again. Yet another example. Same color palette. You have the ears pointing upwards like a Doberman, and it's the same thing, okay? You got the same colors, same exact blue, right? They didn't even bother changing the blue tone to something different. It's the same blue. You have the same chest, right? So they just added like this shirt on top that's like gold. This is like a pharaoh type, and even the ears, right? So on the Pokemon, you have those flabby ears that you would see on like a poodle or something, and you have that same type of ear just dangling from the back. If you wanted to be original, I mean, why not just make it into a cat version? Why not just have a cat so it'll have like a stubby nose or something? Literally anything. These guys are literally asking to be hated on. I'm so glad they're being canceled, but not being canceled enough. We shouldn't be playing this game. You guys, this is just a copy and paste cash grab game. Now this is one of the more original ones because they decided to use a different color palette. I mean, just a little bit. They still got the yellow. They still got a little bit of red. Instead of the light pale green, they just went with the all green. But the stance of the character is still the same. Right, it has like a boxer type of stance where the knees are a little bent, the elbows are a little bent, and he looks like he's about to pounce. But you have those eyebrows, right between those eyebrows, you have that little triangle coming into the nose on both of the characters. And you have those big wavy ears that go all the way up. And you have those boots that kind of flare out and have those little pokey things, and the tail, the fluffy tail, really. So these are just a few of the examples, okay? There's a ton more examples that I can just go on and on and on about, okay? If you are one of those people that is a YouTuber and made a video defending this game, saying, oh, it's just inspiration. They just took inspiration from Pokemon. What's the big harm? Dude, come in the comment section and let me talk to you. Okay, after this video, let's see what happens. Okay, this is a side-by-side comparison. How are you gonna say that this is just inspiration? This is literal copy and pasting. This is literal taking literal assets from Pokemon and putting it in your own game with a different engine. That's all they. That's literally what they did. So come at me. Come in the comment section. Okay.